I've moved over to the Cygnet buzz bars and bank sticks this year. One for a change, but also for the weight. They're much lighter than a stainless stick, and they're pretty durable as well. So the ones I've got on here are the snug system, which means all the rods are nice and close together. That's how I like them. They're 9.5-inch fronts and 8.5-inch backs, so the reels are virtually touching there. There are 3-rod versions in a wider fitting, so your reels are not so close together, and there's a 3-rod adjustable as well. And I've also got the 2-rod snugs, which keep the rods really close together, and if you keep them nice and low, everything just looks lovely. So on the front, I've got one of the standard 12-inch bank sticks, and what I've done is put one of the new torque screws in there, so you can really screw it up tight and stop it twisting. I've actually got my own stabilisers in the ground there to stop the whole thing twisting, but there will be Cygnet ones to come out shortly. And then on the back, I've got the 18-inch bank stick, so I've made a hole. I've got like a special T-bar to make the holes in the gravel. The bank stick's gone in a lot further, and that just keeps it all nice and stable, and you can see that's rock solid on there. And then on the back set of buzz bars, I've got the quick lock butt rests. There's 2 fittings on those. I've got the smaller ones on because these rods I'm using have got very slim handles. There's a wider one as well. If you've got full length Duplo handles or cork handles, there to fit those. And you can see that is absolutely rock solid. That's not, I'm really pulling on that rod and that is not coming forward at all. But when I pick it up, it just clips straight out of there because it's sprung loaded, and bang, you're into a fish. Now, to talk to you about how I've got everything set up for Gigantica, it's very deep out there, 20 to 25 foot. And what I'll do is once I've cast out, felt the lead hit the bottom, I'll tighten up and put the whole rod under the water. So 3/4 of the rod, almost up to the reel, is under the water. The butt of the rod is resting on the front of the swim, and that allows the line to sink. And I'll leave it there for probably 5, maybe 10 minutes. Cuts through the surface layer and carries on going, so it's going right through the middle layers of the water. Then I'll put it on the rest, slacken it off, and let the sub line just sink, and I'll keep pulling more off. I won't even put the bobbin on, just keep pulling more off until it stops sinking. And then I know from probably, I'd say 30 yards out, right the way out to my spot, which is 120 yards, that line is hugging the bottom, and that means fish can come in from either side, feed over the top of the area and not touch the line or see the line. I think that's really important on clear lakes like this that are very deep. You want to be fishing slack line. Once the line's all completely sunk, then I'll put the stow bobbin on, and because it's semi-fixed to the line, getting loads of indication there. Rather than a line sliding through it, it's actually semi-fixed to it, so you're having to pull the whole bobbin up, and that makes the buzzer go off sooner. And the indication on these has been brilliant. I've had the odd bream bite here, even bream at that range. It's pulling up to the top because the line is slack, and then I know there's a bream on the end. It's not pulling forwards at all, so I know there's a bream on the end, and I'm up into it and replacing it again. On a tight line, with it right up at the top, sometimes a bream bite can be a single bleep or just a little tiny drop on the bobbin, and you don't even know it's on there. So it's a popular misconception that tight lines give you better bite indication. I think a semi-slack line like I've got here is much better for bite indication. And when I get a carp bite, pulls up to the top, the clutches are screwed up absolutely tight. They can't take any line at all. I've got 120 yards of mono out there. There's a lot of stretch in that. There's no way the fish is going to drag the rod off of this because it's on there so tight, and there's no way it's going to snap the line. And all that's happening with that bobbin right up at the top, the fish is just pulling the hook in further and further and further as it tries to run off. I wind down because it's a long way out, wait until it goes really tight, lift up into the fish, and then I'm side straining the fish and trying to take it away from the baited area. If you pull up, the fish tend to go further out. If you side strain, they tend to kite the opposite way. So here I'll be side straining right if I can, trying to get them to kite left, do all their fighting out to the left where there's no weed, and then hopefully netting them. So if you think about what's going on underwater, get your lines on the bottom as much as you possibly can, you'll definitely catch more fish.